alaikum dear viewers, and welcome to our Learn Arabic show. So we all know that today is the 26th of Dhul-Qa'd, and on the 13th of Dhul-Qa'd we were celebrating the birth anniversary of one of the most well-known scholars, and his name was Muhammad Taqi. Now Muhammad Taqi, his teachers, they were Sayyid Abul Hassan Isfahani, and his other teacher was Mirza Nayani, and plus he visited places like Najaf as well. And also he was a great philosopher, and he was also a great faqih. Now the reason why I bring this scholar to enlighten you all is because being a faqih, meaning that dealing with all the fiqh rules and everything, in order to become a faqih you need to go through a lot of study. Now if you look at the Quran, you will find that in Surah Al-Baqarah there are many rules regarding fiqh. There are rules about fasting, there are rules about women's inheritance, right? So most of the ahkams you will find it in Surah Al-Baqarah. Now to know these rules, to understand these rules, to implement these rules, and then finally to give out a ruling based on different conditions, you need to know the knowledge of, you need to have that knowledge of Arabic. You need to dive deep into the grammar of Arabic in order for you to understand the rules, to understand what is required by you to do, to perform, like when to fast, when not to fast, what is haram, what is halal. So you need to know the Arabic, right? So because of this, he was the greatest faqih. And so he knew a lot about fiqh because of Arabic. So basically then he died in Tehran, and at the age of 87. So these scholars, they have put in so much effort learning Arabic. Of course, to interpret the Quran, there are many other requirements that you need to interpret the Quran, but of course one of the most important features, that qualifications that you need to interpret the Quran, is the knowledge of Arabic and grammar, right? So today we're going to start with our session. In the previous session, just to recap what we did in our previous session, we discussed about verbs. Again today we'll be continuing with the verbs, but in the different pronouns. So we discussed about verbs, and verbs fi'lun. So what pronouns we discussed about? We discussed about huwa, we discussed about past tense. Past tense of what? Of huwa. Huwa means he, right? So if I want to say something like he drank, or he sat, for example, he sat, so we said the root verb is always the past tense huwa. So he sat is jalasa. He sat is jalasa. And hiya, we said about hiya, which means she, we said that to this jalasa you will add a ta with a jasiv on top, a jasiv or a sukoon or a jazm, whatever you want to call it, So we have jalasat. And of course, nouns do not carry a sukoon. You will never find a noun at the end of the word carrying a jasiv on top. This is because this is a verb, therefore it can carry a jasiv on top. And of course we are going to learn in the depths, like why is there a jasiv here, why isn't there a jasiv in some cases, right? So we discussed huwa, hiya, and then we moved on to anta and anti. So we moved on to an ana and nahnu. Anta and anti will be discussing today. So we moved on to ana and nahnu. So if I want to say jalasa, right, he sat. Huwa jalasa, he sat. Jalasat, she sat. I sat becomes jalastu. I said you add an open ta with a nominative case on top. So I have jalastu. This is just to refreshen your memory. Then we moved on to nahnu. We talked about nahnu, which means we, right? So jalasa, he sat. Jalasat, she sat. Jalastu, I sat. Jalasna, we sat, right? And I also said that all the verbs, the list that I gave you, will carry the same format with an exception of 3 verbs. So I want to clarify that, with exception of 3 verbs. So what are those 3 verbs? We will look at them in ana, nahnu, huwa, and hiya. What 3 verbs will not carry the same trend, right? So those 3 special verbs. Remember, in terms of huwa, I had said huwa. I want to say he said. I'll say huwa qala. Qala, he said. And hiya becomes qalat. Qalat means she said. But ana will not take the same format by adding a ta with a nominative. That will not, of course that will be the case, but it will be a bit different, right? Because there is a change in the vowel here. If you notice other verbs, there are no changes in the vowels in the verbs itself, right? So this noun here, this verb here, from qalat, it becomes qultu. So basically I will change this accusative case and it becomes a nominative case. So I will have qultu. Then I had also given another verb. I said qama. Qama, just same like qala, okay? So for example, qama means he stood. So I want to say I stood, right? So it will become ana. So qultu, qama becomes qumtu, right? Qama will become qumtu. Qala becomes qultu. Qama becomes qumtu. Okay, qama means he stood. Qumtu means I stood, right? And the other verb, lastly, the third verb, which will not carry the same trend as other verbs, is this one here, which I will write it down for you. And this verb here is hajja, okay? Now remember, when we were doing the topic of tashdid, this is just a recall. When we were doing the topic of tashdid, I said that there are some words which carry a tashdid sign. Some verbs which carry a tashdid sign are actually derived from other verbs, right? So the origin of the verb hajja, okay, the origin of the verb hajja, if you recall, I had taught you in the lesson of tashdid, it becomes, the origin was hajaja. Remember, we had done this. So the origin of this hajja was hajaja. Then I had said that the Arabic grammarians, to make it more, to make more sense out of this word, they changed it. They dropped the jim. So I have dropped this jim, and this word here becomes hajja. So hajaja becomes hajja, right? But now when I am going to, so huwa hajja means he performed hajj. Hiya hajjat means she performed hajj. But what if I want to say I performed hajj? Inshallah, may Allah all bless us to go for hajj, inshallah. What if I want to say I performed hajj? So remember the hajaja. So it's going to become ana hajjajtu, okay? Ana, okay, I'll have to put an extra jim there, if you have seen what I've done there. Ana, it becomes ana hajjajtu. And of course, huwa is hajja. Huwa hajja. Now you might be asking that where did the extra jim come from, and I'll give you the same reply. The extra jim is because the origin of the verb hajja is from hajaja. So if I want to say I performed hajj, I will say ana hajjajtu, right? Because the origin of the verb hajja is hajaja, and they have changed it from hajaja into hajjajtu. Okay, you might be a bit confused, so I will list down the pronouns using the verb hajja, right? And of course ana becomes harjaja. Nahnu will take the same form, obviously just adding a noon with an alif carrying an accusative. So I'll have, of course not forgetting the extra jim, so I have hajjajna. Hajjajna. So I have hajjajna. So huwa hajja, hiya hajjat, ana hajjajtu, nahnu hajjajna. Okay? So let me just break it down for you. So I have huwa hajja, hiya hajjat, hiya hajjat. Then I said ana. I have ana. Ana what? Ana hajjajtu. Ana hajjajtu, and nahnu hajjajna. Okay? Nahnu hajjajna. Right. So huwa hajja, no extra jim. Hiya hajjat, no extra jim. Ana hajjajtu. I have added an extra jim because the origin of the verb hajja was hajjaja. And of course, if I say something like hajjtu, it wouldn't make, sense, right? In Arabic, if I say hajjtu, it won't make sense. So the Arabic grammarians decided on adding a jim so that it can make it more, you can pronounce it better. So I can say hajjajtu, okay, ana hajjajtu, nahnu hajjajna, right? So these were the three special cases of verbs. Of course, other verbs will carry the same trend, the same format, right? Now today we'll be discussing about what I had planned for today, which was the other pronouns. So we have looked at huwa past tense, we have looked at hiya past tense, we have gone to ana and nahnu. Now today we'll be looking at anta and anti, right? So I have my root verb. I'll put down my root verb. What's my root verb? Of course, my root verb is the huwa past tense, like shariba, jalasa, that's my root verb, right? So I will start just putting an example. My root verb is shariba, okay? So that's my root verb. And what does shariba mean? Yes, shariba means he drank. So that's my root verb. I have my root verb there, shariba. Now I'm going to change this into anta and anti, past tense, of course. So we're still looking at past tense, right? So I have my anta and anti, which I'll be looking at. Anta. You all know what anta means, right? Anti. You feminine and you masculine, right? So anta and anti. So my root verb shariba. So shariba past tense into you female, I will change it into, it will become sharibti, okay? Anti sharibti, okay? So I will have anti sharibti. And what about anta? Yes, anta sharibta. It's very simple. Anta sharibta, anti sharibti. So anti sharibti, anta sharibta, meaning you female drank. Okay, and this means you male drank, right? The next verb, the next root verb, la'iba. So la'iba becomes anti la'ibti, okay? Anti la'ibti. Anti la'ibti means what? You female played. Okay? and it will become anta la'ibta. So you notice there is a trend here, okay? And there's sort of a trend. Now what's the trend? Easy to remember. If I want to easily remember, what is anta for, what is anti, while conversing with people, it becomes very difficult, okay, I have to now sit and recall and then converse, right? So if you want it on the tip of your tongue, just notice a trend that here in anti, you see, I have a ta carrying a genitive case, okay? I have a ta carrying a kasra, a genitive case, right? So anti sharibti, even the verb at the end, it carries an open ta with a genitive case. Same with anta, okay? Anta ends with ta with an accusative case, that is a fatha. It ends with ta having an accusative case, fatha. And this verb here also has a ta with an accusative case. So anta sharibta, anti sharibti. Okay, so that is the sort of trend which makes it very easy to remember. So la'ibti, and here anta, yes, anta la'ibta, meaning that you may have played. Right, the next verb I have here, jalasa. Okay, so jalasa means he sat. So if I want to change this verb here, it becomes jalasti. Okay, so I have jalasti. Jalasti means you female sat, you female singular sat. Okay, that is jalasti. Anti jalasti. Okay, and for masculine will become, yes, masculine will become jalasta. Right, so masculine will become jalasta. Then we move on. I have the verb akala. Akala, in Swahili they say kula, akala, right? Akala means he ate, right? So akala, huwa akala, ana akaltu, nahnu akalna, hiya akalat, anti akalti, right? So I have akalti. Akalti means you female ate. And what about for the masculine? Masculine male you, it will become akalta. So I will have akalta. So all the rest of the verbs will go the same format. Now for those three special cases, so I'm going to rub this off because I want to show the three special cases, right? So let's go through these verbs again. I have anti sharabti, okay, anti la'ibti, anti jalasti, anti akalti. Then we move on, anta sharibta, anta la'ibta, anta jalasta, anta akalta, okay, anta qara'ta, okay, and many other verbs, anta katabta, anta darasta, okay, anta nazarta, okay. So many other verbs, they will go in the same trend, except for those three special cases that we discussed in the beginning. Right. So how will those three special cases take the trend? Right. So we start with qama. So I have here anti, then I have here anta. Right, so anta, anti, right? So if I want to say qama, okay, my root verb here is qama. So let's say I have qama, which means he stood, okay? So I have qama. Qama, iqama, you recite iqama while standing. Qama, he stood. Right, so qama in anti, it will become qumti, right? Remember we said ana qumtu, okay? We said ana qumtu, nahnu qumna. So anti becomes qumti, okay? Anti will become qumti, means you female stood. You female stood. So anti qumti, and anta, of course, anta qumta. Okay, so anta here becomes qumta, meaning you masculine stood. Now you notice that the difference, it's completely different. Okay, our root verb, which was in the huwa past tense, qama, he stood, it completely changes. Qama changes to qumta. It changes completely. You notice that the accusative here becomes the nominative case. The alif here is completely omitted. The meme here carries a adjective, and you add, as usual, just as we do to other verbs, we add a ta with an accusative sign. So huwa qama, anta qumta, anti qumti. What about qala? What about if my root verb is qala? So you notice that qala, and then we have qama, qala, qama, they have the same format. Okay, this has an alif with an accusative, ending with an accusative, the same trend. Okay, the same signs, qala, qama. So because they have the same signs, of course, even here when anta and anti, it will take the same trend. Why? Because it carries the same. If you pronounce it, it almost sounds the same, only that the lam is replaced with a meme. Qala, qama. So here, qumti, qulti. Okay, it becomes qul. You know, in Surah Ikhlas, we say qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say, He, Allah, is one. Of course, say is a command, and we'll be doing that after we finish with the past, then going to the present, then inshallah we'll discuss command. So qul means say. So qul ti means you female said. Okay, and qul ta meaning you male said. Okay, so I have qul ta meaning you male said. Right. And what about my third case? My third case was hajja. So what if my root verb for the huwa past tense is hajja? Okay, hajja means he performed hajj. He performed hajj, and that is my root verb. Now I want to change this he performed into you masculine performed, into you feminine performed. So how will it change? Remember, I said earlier that the origin of the verb hajja is from the verb hajaja, but because the grammarians have added a tashdeed sign, and they had to drop out the jim, right? So I will go back to the origin, harjaja. So I will take harjaja. I won't take this harja. Okay? So I will take as my root verb harjaja, and harjaja will become harjajti and harjajta. Okay? So I have here harjajti, meaning that you female performed what? Performed hajj. Okay, hajjajti, and I have hajjajta. So I have the verb hajjajta, meaning you male performed hajj. Okay, performed hajj. Right. So this is how the pronouns, all of them, they take their trend and their format. Now, just a summary of all the pronouns, and then we'll just have a short exercise. So just a summary of all the pronouns and how they take their trends. Or we can just have a short exercise right now to know how much you have understood. So we'll just move on to the exercise. Right. Right. So I have, for example, I want to say we ate. Okay. How will I translate this as? So first I'll start with the pronoun. The pronoun here is we, and we discussed all the pronouns. We means nahnu. So I will say nahnu. I will say nahnu what? Nahnu akalna. Nahnu akalna, meaning we ate, right? What if I want to say she drank? So I will say she. She means hiya. So I will say hiya. Hiya sharibat. Hiya sharibat. Okay. What if I want to say you male sat? Right? So how will I say you male is anta. So I will say anta. Anta what? Anta jalasta. Anta jalasta. Okay. What if I want to say he recited? Okay. He recited becomes huwa. Huwa is he. Recited qara'a. So I have qara'a. Huwa qara'a. Of course, we can form sentences using the object like we did last time, but then the object like when to carry, accusative, genitive, nominative, that's another whole load of explanation which is just too advanced. So that's why I've decided on bringing these simple sentences for the beginners level. So I have huwa qara'a means he recited. Okay. What if I want to say I stood? I stood becomes, look at the root verb. Okay. So the root verb qama. Qama qumtu. So I stood, I can just say qumtu. That's it. Make it very short. I stood qumtu. You don't have to say ana qumtu or I said ana jalastu, ana qara'tu. It becomes too, very vague, right? So you can just say, qumtu, qultu, okay, jalastu. All right, people will understand that you are saying I. You're using the verb, you're using the noun I, right? The pronoun I. So I can just say qumtu, right? So this is the way you are going to translate these sentences. But for those who find it difficult to, directly translate it, although I will encourage you all, just when you are told something in English, you should try and translate it just directly. But there's also a step-to-step method where it will make it more easy to learn. But of course, I encourage you to translate it directly. If I say huwa qara'a, it should click in your mind, he recited, okay? But if you want this step-to-step method, so for example, I want to say, let's say he saw, okay? He saw, right? So first I will look up my pronoun he. He means huwa, right? Huwa, right? Now so, what is my root verb? It is basara. So huwa basara. But what if I want to say something? Okay, what if I want to say something like you saw, okay? You saw, okay? So first I'm going to look at my pronoun. My pronoun here is you and I'm referring to feminine, let's say. So you female, so you female is anti, You female is anti. Now so, what is my root verb? My root verb is basara. My root verb is what? Basara, right? Basara of course means he saw. But I want to change it into you saw. So basara, which is my root verb, becomes basarti. You female saw anti basarti. So I have anti basarti. Of course, there is also another meaning of so, which people mostly use. Of course, basara, you know, you find this verb basara, you know, in the Quran, in of course other tenses or just the same. So that's why I've decided to use basara for so, because you find it in the Quran, right? But others can also use so. So I have two meanings, right? So if I want to say you saw, I can also say nazarti. Okay, you female saw, I can say nazarti. Okay, I don't have to say anti nazarti, because if I say nazarti itself, people will understand that you are trying to say you female saw. Nazarti, simple. Okay, so I'll say nazarti. This is another meaning for so. So what is my root verb? If I ask you, identify the root verb. Okay, I have the verb nazarti. Now tell me the root verb which will change it into he, past tense. My root verb will become nazara. Okay, so my root verb is nazara, which means he saw. Alright, so this sums up our class for today. Inshallah, in the further sessions we shall be looking at other tenses with other pronouns as well. We'll be looking at other pronouns like antuma and huma and all those. So for now, this is the end of our class. Inshallah, sanaltaqi ghadan, and thanks for listening and have a nice day.